These are the last moments that 4-year-old Arya Talathi was heard alive, before police say her mother, pediatrician Dr. Neha Gupta, killed her, allegedly smothering this little girl and staging her death to look like an accidental drowning. We are going to break down what we are seeing in this newly released surveillance footage with a retired NYPD detective to understand what this will mean for the investigation. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. You may remember the case of 4-year-old Arya Talathi, who was tragically found dead in the backyard pool of a Florida rental home in late June of 2025. Her mother, Dr. Neha Gupta, an Oklahoma pediatrician, she's accused of smothering her daughter and staging the scene. The reason we are talking about this story once again, the reason we are revisiting this story, is because there is newly released surveillance footage that shows this little girl, shows Arya in the final days of her life, moments that until now we hadn't been able to see or hear. Newly released surveillance footage obtained by Law and Crime captures what looks like an ordinary mother-daughter beach trip. Again, moments now cast in a chilling new light. And just days after this footage was recorded, this little girl was found dead at the same home. If you've been following Sidebar, you will remember this case. Dr. Neha Gupta, this pediatrician at the center of what is arguably one of the most shocking child deaths in recent memory that we've covered here on the show. And you might also remember this, the dramatic moment that U.S. Marshals showed up to arrest her in her Oklahoma home on July 1st, 2025.
Police with a warrant! Open the door! Do it now!
Let's go.
Come to the door!
Hands! Hands! Come out!
Contact
On the ground. Come here.
Now here's the thing, okay, this is what's interesting. Gupta was initially charged with first-degree murder, but since then a lot has changed. It was first downgraded to aggravated manslaughter, and then it was elevated back to a murder charge, okay? We're gonna get into all of that. And we're going to break down what we're seeing for the very first time in this newly released surveillance footage in just a moment. But first, how do we get here, right? What is going on? What's the context? So according to an arrest warrant, police were called around 3:41 a.m. on June 27, 2025 to a short-term rental property in El Portal, Florida. This is outside the Miami area. And this is after a call came in from Gupta reporting that her 4-year-old daughter had drowned. The warrant reads, officers observed A.T., hereinafter referred to as the deceased victim, unresponsive and submerged in the deep end of the swimming pool. MDFR personnel extracted the deceased victim from the pool and began cardiopulmonary resuscitation. The victim was pronounced deceased at 4:28 a.m. Now, Gupta told investigators that she had been sleeping beside her daughter, woke up, found her missing. She claimed that the sliding glass door to the pool had somehow been opened and that she tried to save her daughter but couldn't because she couldn't swim. Remember that she couldn't swim. The warrant quotes her saying she attempted to remove the victim from the pool. However, she was unsuccessful due to the fact that she's unable to swim. We will come back to that detail later. But that is the version of the story that Gupta apparently told authorities. The autopsy in this case tells a very different story. Why? The doctor, the Miami-Dade medical examiner, found that there was no water in Arya's lungs or stomach. The report also documented cuts inside of her mouth and bruising on her cheeks, so injuries not consistent with CPR, according to this medical professional, but consistent with asphyxiation by smothering. In the medical examiner's words, quote, the deceased victim was deceased prior to being placed into the swimming pool. And that finding transformed a tragic accident report into a homicide investigation. Now, if you're a fan of Sidebar, you know we cover a lot of cases, you know we put out a lot of clips a day, and I will tell you, if you are thinking about how to build up your social media following, if you're thinking about how to put content out there, we got to tell you how our little secret, our little trick. So we use a platform called Opus Clip. This is an all-in-one AI editor that makes it easier and faster to cut, create, and upload videos across all social media platforms. Through the power of AI, Opus Clip automatically generates B-roll, it cleans up audio, and it reframes your videos for any platform. It is so easy to start using. I'm going to show you how right now. All you got to do is go to opus.pro/sidebar, you sign up, you upload a video, and in just a few minutes, you will have tons of perfectly edited clips clips ready to go. So whether you're making videos for TikTok or Shorts or Instagram Reels, Opus Clip is your one-stop shop for getting your best content seen by more viewers across all these platforms with the press of just one button. And if you're wondering how good these AI edited videos are, and if you're wondering, how good are these AI edited videos from Opus Clip, just look at our content here at Law and Crime. Our producers have used Opus to help us cut and share clips of some of our biggest trials, and we get them to you really, really fast. At Sidebar, we know our listeners have a lot of opinions and ideas to share, and this is the most powerful tool there is to help you edit like a pro and grow your audience. So give it a try for yourself. Go to opus.pro/sidebar to start creating your own videos today. Gupta was arrested July 1st at her Oklahoma City home. This is days after the medical examiner's findings. Body cam video that was obtained by Law and Crime shows the U.S. Marshals forcing their way into her house, where they eventually found Gupta hiding in a laundry room.
Police with a warrant! Open the door! Do it now!
Let's go.
Come to the door!
Turn around. Last come up with breach. She just went back in the house.
Breach.
Neha Gupta, come to the front door! Do it now!
Breach.
The U.S. Marshals, we have a warrant for your arrest! Come to the front door! Do it now!
We saw her. She went back in the house. Where did she go?
What's the east side?
East side of the house.
We got y'all's light over here.
Wraps around us.
Yeah.
You want us to move up, or you guys got
Let's push and see what's on the right side.
Get this closet.
Clear the closet. Sound like this?
Clear.
Okay. Yes, it does kind of come back around, so just hold what you got there.
Partially open the door all the way down through the hallway.
Does that go out to the garage right there?
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna clear this garage, so back up a little bit, will you?
I'm hungry.
Okay.
It's unlocked.
We'll go ahead and open that, and we'll maybe we'll clear this.
guess we gotta remember what's on it, if it's a lock or something.
Still no contact with target. They go just start him to have kind of swing there.
Hey, we're opening up these garage doors. Opening up the garage doors.
We're clear outside.
Shut down here. Hands! Hands! Come out!
Contact.
On the ground.
Come here.
Stand up.
Keep clearing the rest of this and get her out.
She hasn't been checked. You good? Or take her off. Do you want to help me?
She was taken into custody, extradited to Florida. She first appeared in court on July 18th, where prosecutors argued the evidence pointed to an intentional and premeditated act, while Gupta's attorney called the charge premature, claimed that Arya's death was accidental, a tragedy, that it wasn't a crime, accused investigators of rushing to judgment. But the judge referenced the medical examiner's findings.
Her lungs were dry, indicating she did not drown. So for purposes of this probable cause hearing, there is probable cause. In addition, she waited 10 minutes before she purportedly called 911 for help.
And Gupta was denied bond. And now this is where we return to the new evidence, okay? And to help me break it down, I want to bring on special guest, friend of the show, Tom Smith, retired NYPD detective and co-host of the Gold Shield Show. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for taking the time to come in. When you arrive at a scene like this, and I don't know if you've ever arrived at a scene like this, I hope you never did, but how do you differentiate between an accident, right, an accidental death, and a potential homicide?
Well, when you first show up, you're not. Your very first thing is to aid the victim, or whatever needs to be done when it comes to the victim is what you're doing first. Getting that taken care of, getting an ambulance there, getting whatever aid is necessary to take care of that victim. And then later on, when detectives arrive and statements start going, what did you first observe? What did you first see? That's when it starts to break down of how it happened or what the circumstances were surrounding it.
Can you tell from a scene, not even speaking of the enemy, from a scene itself, the physical evidence of the scene, can you tell whether something was tampered with? Can you tell whether something was staged? Can you tell if something doesn't add up? And what are those clues?
Yeah, and it depends on where it is. Like a room, a bedroom. Yeah, you could take a snapshot look at it and see, what's moved, what's broken, what's not. An outdoor scene like this with just a swimming pool, very difficult.
Autopsy findings, are they the end-all be-all? Have you ever disagreed with an autopsy finding based on your own investigation?
No, absolutely not. They're the experts. That's their world. That's what they're educated and paid to do. And I haven't ran into one that I disagreed with. There's ones that you get that you question more like, hey, tell me more about it. Tell me how this didn't happen or how your findings conclude this. Those conversations take place. But just to say, no, that wasn't what I thought, no.
When I tell you there is an absence of water in this little girl's lungs, what does it tell you?
Absolutely did not drown. I mean, no doubt about it. That was actually the first thing I looked up when it came to this case, was what were the autopsy findings when it came to her lungs, her trachea, anything like that. And the absence of any water in there takes away the whole drowning part.
Regarding the surveillance footage, which we're going to get into, generally speaking, how important is surveillance footage in a case like this, particularly footage that leads up to some sort of event? How much does it tell you about what a person's thinking or doing or their actions, their mannerisms? What are you looking for?
Oh, a lot. The interactions between the two, conversations between the two, what's said by each party. Those are dramatic when it comes to leading the course of an investigation of a direction you want to go in, because of just, it's family. Things are just going on at a normal, natural pace, and that's what you want to see. And you want to try to get the little snippets of maybe something bad being said or one small little action that was done that leads to, a terrible event like this.
And a lot of people, I'm not saying in this case, but a lot of people, they don't even realize that they're on tape. right? They don't even realize they're on surveillance tape.
Right, and it's their own house.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and but that's a good point. I mean, we see that a lot. But like, you know, even the Mark Sanchez case, totally different situation. But you know, that footage, there's probably multiple footage, both of the attack, the alleged attack, and then him walking around. There's cameras everywhere, and it captures everything. So I would imagine, in a way, solving a crime, trying to figure out what happened, is easier today than it was 20 years ago.
Oh, dramatically easier. You know, I wouldn't say easier, but it's the technology today helps investigations go on. The presence of video cameras, like you said, is everywhere. If it's not in a store or it's not in the corner of a building, it's on a traffic light. It's on someone's ring, you know, on their front door. It is endless what the coverage is of surveillance technology today.
So at first she's charged with a first-degree murder charge, and this is interesting but then a month later, prosecutors downgraded that to aggravated manslaughter. But by August 13th, prosecutors reinstated a murder charge. This time it was second degree. So it seems they're still saying the evidence supports that this girl was smothered, that the scene was staged. Have you seen a back and forth like that on charges?
Well, you know what? Here's what I want to say about that. And me and you have had this discussion. You have asked me on other shows, what takes so long when there's an investigation going on to come up with what charge you're going to charge someone? This is exactly why. Because if you jump too quick, this is what happens. And now the prosecution looks horrible. Detectives are kind of in the middle of this because they probably know what should be charged, but then it's up to the DAs to do it. And it affects the jurors out there. You know, jurors during a trial aren't supposed to watch the news or read the paper, whatever, but beforehand in your own life, you're going to. So now you see, is the prosecution really on the right track? Is it right? Is it wrong? What are they doing? So that's why I always said to you that the more time you take with going through it methodically and making sure you do this once and one time and you're right about it, this is exactly why.
How much do investigators influence prosecutorial decisions on charges?
It depends on the relationship you have. You know, most detectives and DAs have great relationships because you're dealing with the same ones all the time. It's kind of one team. And that's why that relationship is so important, because each of you need to rely on your opinions and your experiences of what you saw, what your gut feeling is, but then you can't go gut into the law. Then the law has to take over. You know, so it's a back and forth, but the relationship there is very, very important to each other's experience.
So you're saying law and order is real? It's accurate?
Yeah. I mean, we've had, and you know what? It's not always on the right page. You know, you've had disagreements. Why are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this?
Oh, I meant the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's accurate.
That happens because, you know, you're after two different things.
Yeah.
You know, in the law enforcement world, the detective's job is to lock up the bad guy.
Yeah.
You know, in the law, they have to prosecute him and put him in jail. Those are two different worlds.
Yeah.
But they kind of come to an agreement in the middle. But inevitably, at the end, the law is always gonna take over.
Okay, let's talk about this surveillance footage, because it's odd. This is odd. There were cameras at this rental property, and it captures Dr. Neha Gupta on June 25th and the 26th. So this is the final days before this little girl's death. The footage we obtained shows this 4-year-old in what is just little ordinary moments with her mother at this short-term rental property before authorities say she was found dead in the backyard pool. In the footage, you can see who police say is Gupta pulling up to that El Portal home in her car on June 25th, then stepping out with her daughter. You can even hear Aria's voice here. You see her again in this video where Gupta appears to walk to her car, grab the bags. Later, she's seen bringing in a suitcase, and you can still hear the little girl's voice in the background. That evening, a food delivery arrives. The next afternoon, there was a diaper change. Later, Gupta is seen carrying the tired-out girl inside. I will tell you, this would be the last time that Aria was seen alive, because the next morning, this is now June 27th, flashing lights, first responders arrive, and finally, the heartbreaking scene, her body being taken out on a stretcher. Tom, I think that this is important footage. What does it tell you, though? Because it seems just so ordinary. And if you think about what she's accused of doing, is there anything in there that is a clue?
No, that's what I said before. You know, video footage is great. You know, you're always looking for video footage on the detective side to find something wrong, but that's not always the case. You know, like I said, it's normal interaction that you see on these videos between a mother and her daughter. And hearing her voice, oh, Mommy, I'll help you with the bag. You know, just there's no animosity there. There's no violent tendencies there. There's no yelling. There's none of that. So sometimes the video of what you're kind of looking for, because you know the end result, you know the event that took place. And when you start looking at videos and none of that is on there, then you have to go to the next step.
But it does provide a timeline.
Yes, very important. You are absolutely right about that. Timelines when it comes to these are very important because you could get statements from the people that are involved and those get murky and cloudy and kind of on top of each other. When you have a definitive timeline because of video, that certainly helps out.
But this could help defense attorneys, right? In the sense, like, if this is a woman who's accused of murdering her daughter, do you see anything on this tape that would indicate this is something that was about to happen, or if she has the ability to do this? I mean, in the tape, you could argue she's caring for her daughter.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And listen, defense attorneys have a job to do, and that's to defend their client. And a video like this is certainly going to help out.
Now, through her attorney, Gupta maintains her innocence, insisting that her daughter's death was accidental, that it was a tragedy, it wasn't a crime, accusing investigators of rushing to judgment. But Tom, I want to talk about this now. I want to talk about one detail from a past interview of Gupta's. I don't know if you saw this. It is raising some eyebrows, okay? We found this video that is circulating on YouTube from November 18th, 2022, where a medical virtual discussion on research that Gupta had published, she was asked to share a fun fact about herself. Here is what she said.
I love adventure sports. So I guess not a lot of people know about that. So I love scuba diving, snorkeling.
Scuba diving and snorkeling. Remember earlier we told everybody that according to police, she said she couldn't swim. That's why she couldn't save her daughter. I mean, per the warrant, the subject stated she attempted to remove the victim from the pool. However, she was unsuccessful due to the fact that she's unable to swim. What do you make of that?
That's a problem.
Yeah.
You know, your words come back to haunt you sometimes when you're not thinking, obviously, in the future of what might take place, and you're just giving an interview and being truthful in that interview about things you like, things you can do, you know, events that you go to, that you snorkel and swim and everything, and then later on, it's going to come back to haunt you, and this is a problem for her.
It's like riding a bike, right? Like once you know how to swim, once you're it's not like you lose that ability unless there's some sort of tragic, you know, traumatic physical injury where you no longer can swim. Is this common where you see people making statements, maybe particularly online, particularly on social media, that come back to bite them and it contradicts something that they say later on?
Sure. You know, we bust on social media a lot in certain things, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it helps out investigations when things like this occur. And let's get something straight, you know, Jess, you know, she's not swimming the English Channel. She's not swimming in the Atlantic Ocean. She's jumping into a pool, grabbing a body that's probably 40 pounds or so, and getting it out of the water. And it's your daughter, all right? You would move heaven and earth to take care of one of your kids and try to do everything you could for one of your kids. And the excuse of I can't swim when you're not really swimming is her defense in this is going to cause a problem.
Now, something else that I want to bring up with you are custody issues, okay? Custody issues that were uncovered. So investigators also learned that Gupta was in the middle of a bitter custody battle with her ex-husband, Dr. Sarab Talathi, who says that he had no idea that she had taken their daughter out of Oklahoma. Court records show he'd been granted temporary sole custody after claiming Gupta interfered with Aria's medical care and exhibited erratic behavior. He even petitioned the court for a psychological evaluation, citing, quote, unreasonable mood swings and concern for the child's safety. When I say that, how seriously do investigators look at that? How do they weigh prior concerns about erratic behavior or interference with medical care? Is it related to this case?
Yes, it's a major part of the investigation. And I've said it all the time, interviews are so vital when it comes to family members, past history, things you've done in the past. And when it comes to custody battles, you nailed it. There is so many things that come out when interviews are done, when there's specific custody battles going on about the way people are. You know, behind closed doors or behind cameras, people are different. So that's where you really get into the integral parts of a relationship when you're dealing and talking to an ex-spouse or a spouse about their actions, statements they've made, anything like that is going to be a big part in this.
Well, Dr. Neha Gupta remains behind bars in Miami-Dade County. She's awaiting trial on that second-degree murder charge, and court records show that she's due back in court on November 13th for a status hearing. We are obviously going to keep following every development as it unfolds, because this is a case that is constantly changing and evolving, and we're still trying to understand exactly what happened to this little girl. Tom Smith, good to see you. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Always a pleasure, Jesse.
And that is all we have for you right now here on Sidebar. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. You can follow me on X or Instagram. I'm Jesse Weber. I'll see you next time.